Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode here of the WTF What's the Format radio show and live cast with yours truly, Mike and Joe. I am Mike.
I am Joe. How
Good
are
to
you?
be with you here, guys. Super excited today. This is a great day for me. First of all, I apologize for the voice. I spent a weekend up in Pittsburgh screaming at my baseball team. I don't own a team, by the way. But this is the result. So I'm a little bit on the raspy side. So Joe's going to have to do a lot more talking. But we're going to get to our third installment of Kiss. But a couple of cool things. First of all, thank you again, Pittsburgh, for an incredible time. The people, the area, the just the amazing sights, the food, the amenity, everything. I love everything about that town. I cannot wait to live there one day. Even if it's for a year, I'd be happy. It's been amazing. Congratulations too. Then this will not be able to be shared just as of yet, but I want to congratulate my daughter, and I want to congratulate her fiance now.
What?
That got engaged at PNC Park during the game on Saturday. So congratulations, Ellen.
And, congrats. Great news. Wonderful news.
And that is only for the people here listening. It is not to be shared outside any of this is not for public knowledge. So
wait, I can't, not on Facebook yet.
No.
All right. Okay.
No, it's not a known thing, but I figured this is something
wonderful news.
So congratulations to them. And
can I call you Dad?
Can I call you Dad?
Oh, what are you drinking?
I'm actually doing some seltzer this evening.
More importantly, what are you drinking from?
This freshly washed WTF. Wow. What's the Format live cast and radio show mug? And
oh man,
there might be some really cool things coming down the line, guys. So we'll be talking about them soon as far as what we are going to do as a show going forward, meaning where will we be broadcasting and where will be, you might see us on specifically some areas. So, we're excited about that possibility. The other thing that happened today, well, first of all, before I get into the news of yesterday when this is being aired, how was your weekend?
My weekend was very well. I found out that Aerosmith is still retired.
Yep. You want to turn your mic up a little bit?
A little bit. How about now?
Bring it closer.
Okay. How's that?
Yeah, it's good.
All right. Aerosmith is still retired.
Yep.
So I found that very good. The Argonauts defeated the Edmonton Elks 17-21. And it came down to the last 15 minutes of the game, which was very, very exciting. Other than that, all in all, is pretty good. Last weekend, I went to the Stone Pony. Saw a musician. I don't know if you're familiar. His name is David Bryan. He plays with some band or something. I don't know. But went and saw him at the Pony Inside. And I got to tell you, I had a ton of notes. He had a band. Well, first of all, it was David Bryan and Friends. So now everyone's like, well, who's David's friends? Who's going to show? I hear Bruce is in Philly. I hear, yeah, Bruce didn't show. Nobody from the band showed. And at one point, it really didn't matter. He put on a solid show. His openers were very, very good. You're going to have to excuse me. I got to find the picture because the opening band was just phenomenal. It was the Matt O'Reef band.
Oh, the Matt O'Reef band. I know Matt O'Reef. He's actually a friend on Facebook.
Dear Barbara. They walked out on stage and I was like, okay. And you got the guitar and the bass. I'm like, okay, you got the drum. Okay. Then a guy got behind the keyboards. I was like, this could be interesting. And I don't care how it sounds, but two women stepped on stage in front of a mic. I said, we are going to enjoy something really good tonight. And he started off, and they're all original tunes, sang some really, really good stuff. Then the young lady who turned out to be his wife, she grabbed the mic, and dear Barbara, her voice was incredible. Blew everybody away.
Hmm.
Not to mention the one cover they did the Zeppelin Immigrant Song. And this woman nailed it.
Hmm.
And then they walked off stage, and then Don Jameson came up and had a little bit of fun, a little bit of comedy, and then the band walked back on stage, and Dave joined them. And the first half was pretty much Bon Jovi songs,
Mm-hmm.
which, let's face it, the guy didn't sing for 20 some odd years, so his voice is in good condition. He sang, and then the rest was just like a jam session. The one friend that couldn't make it was the lead singer of the Goo Goo Dolls. I do not know that person because I am not a fan of the Goo Goo Dolls.
John Resnick.
Thank you. He couldn't make it due to COVID. But all in all, it was really a good show. I didn't know what to expect. Truth be told, I did not know. I just wanted to see him because I'm a fan. I like his I got both of his solo albums, and it was just an outstanding show. Other than that, yeah, the weekend was just somewhat quiet, and yeah, it peaked at the Argonauts hailing victory. So, not exactly a Pittsburgh game, but still, it had the field and the uprights and sports. But yeah, dude, it's all in all, I mean, you had a great weekend. You get to plan another wedding.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was looking to see if that singer was Reagan Richards, but she was at the Wonder Bar with Gordon Brown.
Yeah, like I said, it was, I think, like a week ago or something, and then forget about it. It just, my mind shot. But unbelievable. Excellent show.
Which day was that?
Saturday.
That was Saturday's show, right?
Yeah.
Not last week, this past weekend.
Not this past weekend, the weekend before.
Weekend before that. Hold on,
Yeah.
let me check.
It was the 50th anniversary of the Stone Pony, David Bryan.
Yeah. Let me check, because that could have been. Oh, someone posted anonymous, but cool. Let me see. Whitechapel Projects. No. August 18th. No. I'm on Reagan Richards right now profile just to see if she was part of August 13th. No, we're not there. We're not there. So okay, yeah. So they were not at that, which is surprising because they go back a ways. So yeah, I'm surprised. I want to talk about what now, of course, which is now yesterday when people were watching this, and I'm.
Yeah. Play it on me.
I am so pumped up. I'm going to break my cardinal rule. What's my cardinal rule about going to shows, Joe? I won't spend over what?
$100, $200.
I'm going to break my rule.
Okay.
Because I told you the one exception would be is to go back and see Oasis.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
As of today, as of 8:00 this morning GMT, which of course those of you playing the home game is London time. The announcement came, of course, of the reformation or the coming together of the brothers who put all the stuff aside and are now going to play a series of shows in 25 in the UK, but there are also dates now in August that will be released later this week for America, for other continents, specifically the US. I am stoked. I probably won't get a ticket because I'll be priced out. I'm going to go max $250 on a ticket. That's all there is to it.
I got to tell you, and maybe it's because I'm old and what do I know, was never a fan of Oasis. And then when all the arguing with the brothers and such, and they did the MTV Unplugged, and the one brother was in the audience and the other was on the stage, and it just come on now, either perform or don't perform, and get rid of the shtick. And it just too much personal got brought into the music, and too much right. So no, it's great for those who appreciate the band and like the band,
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting together. That's great. Truth be told, I really don't see it making the States. And if they do make the States, there's going to be issues. That's my prediction. But
Yeah.
don't mean to piss on your parade, and
As
I
somebody,
apologize.
that's okay, because I will, I come back and knock it back across the net. I like you, when they first came out, did not like the whole vibe. Was not a fan of it. Um, and that was to my own detriment, because I did not care to listen to the entire first record. Definitely, maybe that was stupid. Um, Everyone knows them. Like I said, if you judge the band off of Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, and um,
They're,
Live
they're hits.
Forever and Live Forever, then you're doing yourself an injustice, because you're not listening to the albums as a whole. Maturing in my ability, in what things that I hear and listen to, I went back and I listened to that record, and I started doing my research, and researching the past, and researching the band, and every kind of documentary, interview, as I always do, liner notes, everything. Um, Incredible. I understand why it's the best-selling debut in British music history, the best 1-2 punch album wise in British music history. That doesn't happen by a lot of pomp and circumstance. It happens because the songs are solid and the songs are good. And the attitude was the attitude. Two punk kids from Irish descent, living in Manchester, growing up in Manchester. Um, so the story makes sense. The aggression but the melody makes sense for British guitar rock. And being a fan of British bands, namely Zeppelin and Sabbath and Leopard, and all those great bands. This was pretty Beatles. It was pretty easy to fall into what they were trying to do. Throw out the crap song, throw out the Wonderwalls. Even though when you look at it, it's just over. It's one of those things. Same thing. It's overplayed. When you get overplayed, blah 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 blah. Now, the thing is, these guys didn't fight like the Robinson brothers, which I love. Chris and Chris Robertson and Rich Robertson from the Black Crows, literally fisticuffs, punching each other out. Oasis never did that. They threw barbs at each other, they threw guitars at each other, but it never got where you were like on the floor rolling around. Matter of fact, they caught the Robinson brothers on that Brotherly Love tour fighting, and they said, "Holy shit, we're not that bad." But I guess they finally took a cue that if these guys can get it back together, and the story goes, and now it's really coming out, that it was Noel's wife that was really keeping them apart. That was really keeping them, because Liam and his wife were mortal enemies. Well, she wound up divorcing Noel. And then all of a sudden, Noel started talking to Liam again. And now all of a sudden, now they're back together touring. And I think it's going to go beyond that. I think they're going to put out new music. But yeah, you go listen to those first two records. You listen to Definitely Maybe, all of the music on Definitely Maybe. And then you go, I get it now. I get it. This is exciting stuff. This goes back to T-Rex and Bowie, and it has all the trappings of all those great early 70s bands, Brit bands. And if you're a fan of that music, you can't deny the record. You could hate the shtick or whatever everybody thinks it might be, but when you go back and you really, really give it a good listen, because there's really not a single on it except for Live Forever. But man, what hooks.
You know what? Well, chances are in the near future, I'm going to listen to one, the first, if not the first and second album, because it's almost like I have to. And I'm telling you right now, if I listen to it and I wind up liking it, I'm going to be pissed. Because, I know everything. I used to manage a music store, so I know everything.
I promise you, if you listen to Rock and Roll Star, you're gonna get hooked.
And you'll admit that Unmasked is a great album.
But you see here the difference. I listened to Unmasked.
Yes, I have to. No,
you have to listen to the record. It's kind of like watching John Wick. You have to watch it to get an opinion of it.
Right. And yeah. Do you have an opinion on that movie just yet?
I don't have an opinion.
Yeah. See, that's a shame. It's a shame. But you see, I'll take the time out and I'll trust your word and I'll listen to these two albums, because hearing your story about it and explaining to how it is like, all right, I know Mike. I trust Mike. I'm going to do this because Mike says I should. Why not trust him? Known him for how long? Okay. See, that's how it works, You know what I mean? It's
yeah, I can listen to both albums inside of. See, the thing is, they're cool, except for Champagne Supernova, Don't Look Back in Anger. The songs are Beatlesque songs. They're short, so you can get the vibe of a record, especially the first one. Definitely, maybe really quick. The second one, which I actually liked first, I loved Morning Glory before I liked Definitely Maybe, but now I know where Definitely Maybe comes from and what they had to do to get that sound that they wanted. It was amazing. I was like, wow, that's crazy how good they did, and completely different sound. They say, well, it's a Beatles copy. I never heard the Beatles sound like that. I love the Beatles. Beatles plays in my house almost every day. That aggressive vibe of Beatles I had not heard before. And I was just like, I get it. It's from the streets, which is really what they were coming for. Well, but again, I could sit there and wax poetic about Oasis for the next hour and talk about the next record, what happened in the third record.
That could be the next show.
That could be some show.
Bands that the women broke them up. We can talk about Oasis. We can talk about the Beatles. We could talk about Spinal Tap.
Yeah. And people said, is this the greatest reunion? On the Oasis page, it says this is the greatest reunion in the history of music. I said, no, it's not. And I wrote underneath that, Nigel Tufnell rejoining Spinal Tap is the greatest reunion in music history.
Of course.
Figured I would get some love out of Liam out of that one. He's pretty good. Yeah, he actually interacts with fan base. I threw up a post on Eddie Trunk, and people were just like, who cares? It's Oasis, blah, 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 whiny bunch of brats, blah, 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 blah. But they came from nothing. They had no money. They had no father either. Father was a lowlife. And I'm like going, know the story before you open your mouth. And I'm like, these guys came out and they just created the biggest selling debut album in British music history. I mean, you don't go from that to that. Stop. I love the uneducated when it comes to music, because it's just not even a contest. But we are here to talk about, in our third installment, we are here to talk about our final installment, thank God, to talk about Kiss and the downfall and the rise. They're in the downfall there again to the end. And we'll try to do this rather quick, because this could tend to be a long show, and we're going to try to knock this out of the park. So we left you guys with The Elder. So The Elder goes, obviously there was no really touring, no buzz about the record. They go
just
back
into appearances and little appearances here and there.
Yep. Ace decides to get into a couple more car wrecks and a couple more problems with the law, almost kills himself in a car accident in Connecticut. And then lo and behold, they go back into the studio to record possibly, as I think we can agree, their heaviest record, which I know you have. I didn't. My copy did not get mailed to me yet. I did order
Yes.
it. But we're going to talk about probably one of the best Kiss records. I'm going to say for me ranks in the top, in my top five
Yes.
of all time
Hands
Kiss records,
down.
and that is, can you show the picture up right there? Creatures of the Night. And do you have both covers?
Yeah, I didn't dig out my album. I'm sorry, but
Okay.
I will do
So
the
there you
CD.
go. There is your remasters copy of Creatures of the Night. I feel like I want to get that. I do not have that. I
This
think I'm a CD because I could buy that for $6 right now.
this is just it's the cover is so simple. It's just four faces. It's blue, and that for some reason love the album cover. Just the simplicity about it, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's the color.
And the
But the
first,
album, then what was great about it is by the time Creatures came out, I had a stereo system and a tape deck, so it was buy the album, buy a blank tape, bring it home, put it on the cassette tape, so I could walk with my boom box and look and sound cool.
yeah.
And phenomenal album.
The thing that impressed me most about it was, even though it wasn't Kiss per se from a sound standpoint, it was much heavier. And the one thing I noticed right off the bat is number one, the drums were just bombastic. They were
Yes.
huge. And the other thing that I noticed right away was, wow, where did Ace learn to play that way?
Yes. All of a sudden things got a little faster. Things it was like things didn't sounded much different.
The now,
And I knew by this point I was like a teen, and I hung out with older people who loved Kiss, and they told me, they're like, oh yeah, Ace is done. They have this guy called Vinnie Vincent. He's got an onk on his face, and he's like he's like some Egyptian guy.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh cool, okay. And they go, yeah, that's not Ace on the album. I said, really? And I said, it didn't matter. It was a great album. I said, okay.
Yeah. And so, and I mean, that's the whole thing, because this is where for me the distrust. Do I care that Ace played on it? I thought he learned how to play guitar a different way. I was just like, wow, this is different. But then all of a sudden it's like, yeah. But at that age, I'm not sitting there going, oh, well, I didn't know that people, I thought you were a band and you went in and you played every
Yeah.
instrument. I was a purist when it came. I wasn't well versed in the fact of, oh, well, you could do this and you could do this, and have this person come in and put another guy. I didn't know that kind of BS existed. So when it happened, I remember going. Well, first I remember getting really angry, and I'm like, well, how could you sit there? And I saw the promo videos. Creature of the Night, Ace was playing.
No, they had them. I know they had. I didn't see the promo for Creatures, but I know they had a music video for "I Love It Loud." I
They
saw that
had
on
that,
MTV
but
and went
I saw
nuts.
a promo concert where they were playing to tracks. It was just for filming. It was a promo
Yeah.
concert, and they were playing Creatures of the Night, and Ace was on guitar, and he's sitting there, well, and then he goes into the riff, and Millie Vanilli. Millie friggin' Vanilli. It's not him playing guitar. It's not even him playing the right lick. He's just probably just all over to make it look fast. But I'm thinking about it. I'm going, I'm a founding member of this band. My solos made this band. And now we're playing some fast, uh, I guess for the time, 82,
The music was
number of the
changing.
beast, screaming for vengeance. I'm playing this fast, accommodating for the time. And it's not me on the record, and I'm going to fake it. Well, since he'd been faking, I guess he'd been faking it since, I mean, he had to fake it for Destroyer and play some of those solos that he didn't play on the record. So I guess he figured, it's just a normal thing. I'm collecting a pay. At this point, he's just collecting a paycheck. So
Yeah.
he is checked out. Ace, even though Ace checked out in the solo out records, he checked out completely. He's like gone. Okay, so they go on tour. They bring Vinnie Vincent in. Now you got two people to sell to the Kiss fans and the regular public. Okay. And while the fans weren't the kids anymore, this is now kind of the end.
And it was the
Because,
anniversary. It
you
was
know,
a something anniversary, and the stage was a tank. And they were talking about the stage. And I think I caught on Night Flight. They had an interview with like Vinny, and I heard him talk for the first time. But again, it was my thought on this whole thing was the album came out, was phenomenal, and Ace was on the cover, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is cool." And like older people and musicians were probably like, "Yeah, but that's not Ace." There was, I don't know how they got word of mouth because Google didn't exist.
yeah.
And then the tour comes out, and I'm like, "Oh man!" And the tour got canceled due to poor seats.
Yeah.
And it was a shame because the music was great. The album was solid. That's a great album. And I could be right, could be wrong, but I'm thinking, people like, yeah, Ace isn't touring. They're like, oh, why are we going? We want to see Ace. Who's this guy? That's
Mm-hmm.
the guy in the album. Yeah, I know that, but that's not Ace. We want to see Ace.
Right.
Eric, okay. Eric came in and he did good on the Unmasked tour. Okay, he did good there. And then he's killing it on this record. Okay, we like Eric. Eric's cool. Where's Ace? And there's no Ace. And then like, ticket sales were just went down and down and they did nothing. And
Yeah.
it was a shame because it was a great, great album.
So we got, and that's kind of how I felt about it. But at this point, honestly, I began to move on. For me, I was moving on to bands like, we're talking about the 80s. I was moving on to Maiden. I was moving on to Priest. I was moving on to AC/DC. I was moving on to, in the 80, 81, 82, 83.
Yeah.
I'm moving on to Def Leppard. I'm moving on to other bands, including now understanding the amazing power of Zeppelin. Because now Zeppelin never let me down. These guys, obviously, they let me down, even though they put out a great album here. But then and I'll jump a little bit because here's the other joke about it. So they do a reissue of Creatures of the Night.
Oh man.
They do a
And it
reissue with
didn't.
a new cover with makeup off with Bruce Kulick, who was now in the band at that time, who also didn't play on the record.
Right. They rearranged the songs, but it went with the whole 80s feel after the makeup came off.
Right.
And I don't think they were happy with how the album sold. I remember because I saw it in Tape World and why I didn't steal it. I know I wasn't going to pay for it. And I wanted it on CD because I have it on vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I was afraid. I'm like, okay, wait, we have a different cover. Are they gonna take away the thunder? Are they gonna give that album of a vasectomy and cut its balls off? Because I was afraid to buy it to hear what it would sound like, because on Smashes, Trashes, the Hits, I Love It Loud was on it, and the drums were not the same. It did not have that thunder. It didn't have the big pound as soon as the song started. So I'm like, well, okay, now if that version is on Smashes and Trashes, and yeah, I know what it's really called, but that's what I call it. I'm not gonna buy this CD. I'll wait for the real version to come out and the real one to come. It'll come out eventually. If not, I'll drive an hour and a half and see if they have it in Middletown, which they never did.
Yeah, this is actually with was taken and it's rare. It's rare. It's Creature of the Night vinyl rare no makeup sealed 1985 is when it was put out. So it was put out after Animalized. It was the pictures were taken during the Animalized tour. Bruce was now with the band, and upwards about $800 you can get that for that.
Yeah.
So next time I see it, I'll pick it up. 153. Here's another version of it. $153. You got a pretty good gem there if you got a copy of Even the CDs go for $27.99, which you get a CD now for $10 or $5. So that's pretty good. That's not
Then
bad
there's a
at all.
bootleg, an import, a quote unquote import bootleg from Brazil that actually has Vinny on the cover. Someone did it, changes Ace's face to Vinny, and put that out there. But
Ooh,
it's a boot. But
it's a boot.
yeah,
Okay.
nonetheless, still a great album cover.
So we come to the point. Obviously, the tour fails. They go back to the drawing board. Vinny is now a full fledged member of the band, of course, but he's only part of the band in name, not an actual thing.
Right.
All the rights are owned by Gene and Paul, and still Ace. He's still part of that equation. He didn't sell his rights away at this point. And then we get to the turning point of the band, which kind of restarted their career in a way. And this is actually one of my it's pretty damn good album as far as Kiss records go. But the makeup came off. Let's face it, and I mean, let's face it, the whole thing with MTV was a joke.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it was they've already been getting pictures taken, yada yada yada, and everyone knew what they looked like. And then all of a sudden, the big reveal, and then they played the Lick It Up video.
Right. And I remember that because I'm like, I still don't know what Peter and Ace look like. I don't
Yeah,
care.
exactly. I still don't know what Peter and Ace look like.
But
So
okay.
I could care. I
Fine.
mean, Eric, yes, I could care less what Vinny looked like.
Yeah.
So again, we get this picture, this infamous picture.
That's a cardboard cutout of Vinny wearing a wig. He didn't even make the cut. They are standing next to a cardboard cutout.
Which they also did for Kiss Exposed.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, I remember that.
I mean, Bruce wasn't there,
Right.
so they put Bruce. I think they put
They tucked him
Bruce.
in the back.
They tucked him
He,
in the back.
he was a hired gun. Get in the back.
So yeah, it's just so you could tell this is already starting. Now, here's the thing: the album's great.
Yeah.
The
So
album is
so
really
far,
good.
so far, up until this point, still listening to all the albums. Again, bought the cassette, put the
Mm-hmm.
album on the cassette so I can listen to it and listen to it. No problem. We're good. There's maybe a couple tracks I don't
Yes.
like. I'm not too fond of, but all in all, a great album.
Yep. I mean, the aggression of Not for the Innocent. Young and Wasted. That's another one. Dance All Over Your Face.
Actually, yeah, those two songs I don't like. I don't like Not
Fit,
for the Innocent and
fits.
Dance All Over Your Face. I can do without. I loved On the Eighth Day. Loved Fits Like a Glove.
Yeah, Fits Like a Glove is just a great song. But here we go. Here's the impact that Vinny had on the band. Okay, he made him a harder band. He did. He brought them
Yeah.
into the 80s and had them because, and all of a sudden, the reason why they went back and redid the cover and to resell Creatures of the Night is because those two albums together, there's a statement for you. We're back. We're a heavier band. We're the heaviest we've ever been. We're not playing pop music except for maybe one track would Look It Up. We are playing heavy and sometimes fast. Whoever thought Kiss was going to play thrash?
Well, they had to keep up with the metal scene was getting bigger and bigger, but everybody wanted to be like Eddie.
So
everybody had to keep up with Eddie.
So they on the Lick It Up tour again. This and I my favorite person to mock is one of them is Vinnie Vincent because he's an absolute
please
phenomenal. Good, don't get me wrong. Listen to me.
What he did for the band was good.
Phenomenal guitar player, incredible songwriter, incredible. But there's something not right there. There's something not right there, and now it's really going off the tracks.
Yeah, it's
a train wreck. It's not even my favorite train wreck, which is Lindsay Lohan. I'll watch that train wreck.
No, Vinny, like I said, I enjoy the albums. Just something in me just said he's not long for the band. He's not a good fit.
It's just by all
There's
accounts,
something,
he's just not a good person. He's not a good
yeah,
dude.
something,
There's like a very
yeah.
dark person. He's a very dark, some would say evil. So I would say, yeah, no, goodbye.
Yeah,
But they
Paul had to
fired
kick
him
him.
after Ego took over. They kicked him off and sent him on his merry way, and then got in Mark St. John from the band White Tiger, or at least that's the band he formed afterwards. Um, and lo and behold, Mark St. John in for the recording. That's it. Never played a show because his hand blew up and he wound up having this degenerative disease. Who knew that it would cause him so many problems that it would also cost his life?
They did
So
have a
here
show.
you go, your first death in the Kiss camp, and you're like, wow, you're kind of shocked.
He did play a show because what Kiss was doing now to keep the machine pumping is they're releasing concerts from the quote unquote soundboard, and they have the one of the few shows that Mark played the entire show of
Wow.
from the tour. And I just listened to it the other day. All in all, not bad, but even if he was his hand, his hand was fine and everything, it still wasn't a good match. It didn't sound good.
Well, like Gene said, it didn't sound like a guitar solo, it sounded like an angry beat.
Right.
So look, they were placating the time. I get it. So I mean, we go from one situation like that. You go Animalize, right? So they go on tour, successful tour. Obviously, they released the Cobo Hall video with this new guy playing in the background with a guitar, playing it up around his shoulders like a little ukulele, and you're going, "Who the hell is this cat?"
Yeah.
You're waiting to see Mark St. John shred, and all of a sudden you got this other guy who also shreds. Who does he happen to be? The brother of Bob Kulick, Bruce, who also prior to this played in a band with Michael Bolton out of a band out of New York called
Blackjack.
Blackjack. So that's where we get to this. So we'll go to right away to his first record. We saw the tour. We were there in '84, right? We saw that tour as well. And Wasp opened. Did you happen to see that tour?
No, I never
Okay.
saw them without
I was
makeup.
there. I was there, and look, it was a great show. It was, animal skins on the floor, '80s. It was everything you needed to be. Kiss playing hard and heavy, and not doing pop. Speeding up some of the old songs a little bit for the sake of it. But you saw a band who was working still to regain their popularity, so to speak. And then you saw a band before them who was hungry, and they were called Wasp.
Yes.
And that was the first record. First Wasp record is, for me, one of the best metal debuts to come out. That whole album I have a copy of it. It's absolutely incredible.
Could not agree more. Heard that. I borrowed the cassette from somebody.
The balls on that record. Blackie knew how to write a good tune, and the band was just blistering. I mean, that was a straight kick to the groin, man, that album. And I loved it. So at the same time, you got,
this point with Kiss,
well,
what made it different was when the makeup was on, Gene was the face of Kiss. When you thought of Kiss, you thought of the demon, and you thought of the tongue, and you thought of Gene. Gene was everywhere. Now the makeup came off, and Gene was no longer the face of Kiss. Now it was all on Paul.
Yep.
Because let's just face it, Paul was better looking than Gene.
Yeah, this is true.
The stories and the tongue and whatever, but Paul was better looking than Gene.
Yeah.
So now everything even more rested on Paul's shoulders because now he's the face, and he's got the close-ups, and he's the one guest VJing on MTV. He's the one doing all the interviews. He's the one doing all that stuff because he's the face. And Gene's trying to keep up the demon persona, but it's not working. I saw the video, the Animalized video, and like pretty much Gene was like begging for applause after his bass solo when he ran around the stage and played the bass for like a little bit. And Gene lost his look. He tried many a time, and he couldn't find his look.
Well, he was trying to find his look because his hair was gone because he cut it to be a big movie star. So we all know that. I want to go next to the next album, and we're rolling right along here. And this is what this album called Synchronicity. Oh, I'm sorry, Kiss Asylum. Is it Synchronicity or is it Kiss Asylum? Because it looks the same. If you look at Synchronicity by the Police with the yellow and blue and the red daubs of color, you're like, oh, it's the Police. No, it's not. It's Kiss Asylum.
No, just
and this whole thing with bringing back the colors, and this time, the colors of the band. Like Peter was green and Ace was blue.
Yeah,
Gene was red, and Paul was purple, and now their lips are this color. Great. Okay. Really not one of my favorite covers.
This is when I stopped taping full Kiss albums. This one, the needle started to move, and playing it and going, nope. Dear God, what it started off strong. King of the Mountain, any way you slice it, I'm like, okay. Then Who Wants to Be Lonely? That must have been the hit. Not my favorite. Then Trial by Fire, really. And then I'm Alive, which sounds like it sounds off. It just sounds like, okay, we got to make something fast, something heavy, something hard. Okay, Paul, here's 5 minutes, write a song. Horrible. And then Love's a Deadly Weapon. Yeah. And then Tears Are Falling with the video and Gene with the pink bass. And I'm like, where's the... Don't get me started here.
Yeah.
And then Secretly Cruel, even worse. Radar for Love. And then All Night, which that one made many a stuff tape just for the humor of it. It was like a joke song.
Exactly. This is why, again, I agree with you 100%. We're in lockstep. King of the Mountain came out of there ferocious. I was like, ooh,
yeah.
I was like, whoa, big drum intro. I was like, yes. I was like, wow. Even when they opened the show with that, I was just like, nice.
There we go. Okay.
Cool. All right. And then I liked Tears Are Falling. I did like the song, hated the video, liked the song. I like the hook in Who Wants to Be Lonely. And I loved All Night. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. That's a classic Kiss song. The rest of it was it wasn't even like throwaways. They should never have been.
That was the flavor of the month. That's when, what's
horrible.
the flavor of the month?
So
everyone's dressing like okay, everyone's looking like Poison. We can look better than Poison. And let's ditch the leather. Let's get the spandex. Let's get the flowing colors, and let's be rainbow, and it was like I've said, once they took the makeup off, they were trying to reclaim their championship, and they couldn't do it by being themselves because they didn't know what else to do. So they just kept dipping into, okay, what's the look this week? What are we doing this month? What are bands doing? And they weren't being themselves. They were just trying to survive. It was survival mode. And they should have just, stick to what you know.
See, this is why I think what happened is that the Elder Creatures Lick It Up was starting to try to rebuild the band's identity as a hard, heavy band, right? Relative to the time. They were a heavy band in the 70s with what they played.
Yeah.
Considering if you relative terms. And then when they got to Asylum, again, just like Dynasty, they got bit by what was popular bug. And then by the time we got to this, which is my most hated Kiss album by far, doesn't even come close. When just like Queen said, no keyboards were ever used or synthesizers were ever used in the making of this record. All of a sudden, I've got this Cher Bon Jovi mixed crap of garbage called Kiss Crazy Nights.
Yeah.
The
needle jumped on this one too.
This was horrible. As a Kiss fan, I was embarrassed. I didn't even buy it. This was by default. I didn't buy it when it came out. I didn't want to buy it. I heard Reason to Live. I was just like, oh my God, it's Shandy. Matter of fact, Shandy blows this song away. They started bringing in a lot of other
I,
writers and everything like that. I can't.
I bought it used. I can listen to it in the car. All in all, I didn't find it as bad as Asylum. Again, definitely.
Turn on the night.
I like
Can't
that
wait
song.
any longer. Turn on the night.
I
Dude,
like that song.
dude, how do you go from 100,000 years to turn on the freaking night? That's what I'm talking about.
The same way you go from Rocket Ride to Any Way You Want It.
But he didn't write it any way you want it.
It doesn't matter, but you know.
No, I'm saying you got the same guy who writes 100,000 years now co-writing Turn on the Night. Are you kidding me?
It's to me, it's a toe tapper. It's not worth.
Toe tapper.
It's
Toe
listening
tapper. I'd
to it
rather have
on
my
a
toe
nice summer,
chopped
not
off.
too bad.
I'd rather have my
And
toe
again,
chopped off
I
than
like
toe tap for
Unmasked.
that.
So you know what? Leave me alone. The first song, Crazy Crazy Night, I thought was stupid. Fight Hell to Hold You wasn't too bad. Bang Bang You was stupid. No, 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 I kind of liked. Hella High Water, no. My Way, yeah, no. Walls Come Down now. Reason to Live, not too bad. Uh, good, yeah. But what also Kiss was starting to do was they weren't focusing on the album. They were like, we need the hit and we need the ballad. And then the rest is just going to be filler.
Right.
So let's make our hit, be it good or bad. Let's make our power ballad. Let's make our video.
Right.
And then, okay, what else do we want to put on the album? Oh, okay, let's put Good Girl Gone Bad. Gene, write another crappy song, will you? No, not a problem. So, yeah, another one. Never, yeah. I bought it brand new and it still looks as good as the day I bought it.
So what do you do when you're Kiss and you put out a crappy album? Well, you got to remind people that you actually had put out good music at one point in time. So we're going to remind you, but we're going to pepper it just like Alive 2 with a few crappy songs. So the very next year, we got another Kiss compilation. Smashes, thrashes, and crap.
Smashes, trashes, the hits.
And just to make sure that you know who we are, we're going to put every one of our albums on the back. So you don't remember, hey, we're the guys who had Kiss Alive. And we're the guys who had Love Gun and Destroyer. Remember us? That's who we were. And by the way, this is how many great albums we have out.
He's got the special one. I got the cheapy one. I don't have the pictures.
So, but there are only a certain number that have the gatefold.
Yes.
It is the, let me see, You Drive Us Wild, We'll Drive You Crazy, the story of history. Oh, how wonderful.
And then two brand new songs,
and
which
was
were god awful.
Horribly designed. This was thrown together. I'll tell you, you know what's horribly designed? Look, I'll show you. First of all, your spacing in here. Look how this type line butts right up to the picture. It's like a first grader put this together in it's horrible. The one redeeming quality of this, two redeeming qualities. One, Eric Carr does an incredible version of that.
Yes. He had a good voice that was not utilized enough.
No, you're right. And this cool little picture disc where it has the Smashes Thrashes Hits cover on one side and the classic 1976 Destroyer picture on the other.
Oh, that's when they still liked Ace and Peter. Or just trying to.
So wait a minute. So here you go. We're not going to put you on the albums or anything like that. We don't want to be with you, but we're still going to use your likeness because it sells records.
Hell yeah.
Now, is at this point when a little something called Kiss Convention start up. Now, we know the story, what happened with the Kiss Conventions. You guys are Kiss fans. You're paying attention to it. So we'll just put that over there. So Kiss Conventions start to happen. The band kind of falls out. They really don't do much. 88, 89.
No.
Grunge comes in. And then all of a sudden, well, actually, grunge started in 92.
Right, but smashes and trashes, and they're like, okay, we're going to have conventions to remind people how good we used to be.
How good we used to be.
And here, buy our stuff that was good.
And at this time, obviously,
That's when people started buying the Elder.
yeah, you get
What are we getting?
hold on. I'm very dry, so I'm gotta replenish something. Um, just before grunge breaks, um, this album makes my top 5 all-time Kiss records. They brought back Vinnie Vincent because they needed to be heavy again. Not only that, they brought back Bob Ezrin after the debauchery that was The Elder and the success that was Destroyer. Unfortunately, it came at a price. The price was Eric Carr, who wound up getting sick.
Oh, you skipped an album.
I don't want to do. You're gonna kill me. Do I want to talk about that? Yes. Okay, we'll.
I'll
talk
tell you
about
what.
it.
Before we go to that, let's just mention it.
All right, you mentioned "Hot in the Shade."
Just as bad. Far too many songs.
But wait a minute. We'll say this. We will say this. It did garner their first #1 song.
Oh, Hide Your Heart.
No.
Oh, Forever.
Forever.
And I'm sorry, who wrote Forever?
And who wrote Forever?
Oh,
Michael Bolton.
Massages the Heart.
So for all you Kiss fans, when I was about to jump, I wanted to jump an album. It was really gonna rise to it. No,
actually, Rise to It wasn't too bad, but after that, it just was bad to worse to worse. Love's a slap in the face. Read My Body. Are the letters big enough?
And here's another thing too. That tour wasn't a good tour.
It was Eric's last. They had the stage, they had everything right. So now I'm going to ask you, which one am I dropping? You got to pick one.
Oh, out of those two?
Yeah, which one am I dropping?
Oh, I'm dropping Hot in the Shade.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, easily. Matter of fact, you give me Unmasked. If you put Unmasked on the screen, I'm dropping this one. I'm dropping this one.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm even dropping this one. The only post makeup album that I think is better is this one.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, this one they jumped on
and
like
Cardboard Vinny. No one call him Cardboard Vinny now.
Let's put 15 songs on it. Oh, let's give Eric another song. He sounds pretty good. They gave him one song on his last album. They gave him one song. The man was never utilized enough. He was treated like a hired hand.
Yeah,
and
it was because you'd have to pay him then.
Yeah, but yeah, this is another one. I bought it as soon as it came out, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. And I listen, I'm like, no. That's when the needle. We're like, okay, yeah.
You didn't just needle drop. You just scratched it across.
There was a couple of good tracks on it, and then that was it. And again, looks as new as the day I bought it. Now from there. After that, we have the passing of Eric. Things are.
Well, this is recorded during. He didn't pass,
right,
until this record was released.
That's right. And pretty much they got the sound right, and they got their look right, and they gave us. I don't know what they were getting even for. Maybe for making shitty albums all those years, but they put out Revenge.
So I'm going to say this did get put out. I think it was. Yep, still has that Kiss smell.
I didn't put the year, but we're professional. We're prepared.
This had to be put out in, let me see, when was it released? I'm going to confirm that. because I think it came out. It did come out afterwards.
82.
Well,
82,
the album came out in 81.
This came out in
Uh,
81?
well, here's the thing. All right, so it says May 19th, 1992 was the release date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But the car jam was from 81, the last track.
Right, from 81. But there's actually there's actually some things in here that say 91 in it. Because I looked at this stuff. Nope, 92. What did I see that said 91?
Yeah, I bought this album, liked it, listened to it, let somebody borrow it. I never got it back, had to buy it again.
Mm. Nope,
And
92. We'll leave it at 92. Obviously, Eric died November 22nd of, how do you like that? November 22nd of, well, November, because you know why? It was a horrible day.
Yes.
It was a
Yes,
horrible day. November 22nd, 1991, because we lost Freddie and we lost Eric.
Right. That was
But Freddie we knew was coming. Eric was a shock.
right. Oh no, yeah, Freddie was.
We knew that Freddie was coming. We knew he was dying. We didn't know when, but Eric was like out of left field. We knew he wasn't feeling well. They said it was a heart attack.
Yep.
Later did they release that it was cancer. So no one knew anything about that. So anyway, they go back in, and I'm not going to get into, I don't, because it'll probably upset me. But after talking to his sister, Loretta, I know the shit that went down.
Mm-hmm.
And all the stuff that they say they did, they never did.
No, there's three sides to every story. And those two individuals that are still with us, they know how to evade questions. They know how to twist the answers. They've been doing it long enough that anything to make them look good.
Yep.
I overlook whenever they say, well, Gene talks about Eric, and I don't want to know. I don't want to read it. It's too upsetting. It's too bothersome. And chances are it's 90% bullshit. So
it's a lot of bullshit. And the thing that he still, that he plays that card of how close he was to Eric and how much Eric meant to him and blah, blah, blah. Bullshit.
Oh,
it's called bullshit.
They were talking to Ace. Ace called up and he wanted Eric to play on one of his albums, and Eric called back and goes, "No, I can't. They won't let me." It was sad. It was really, really sad.
Yeah. All that about going to him and seeing him in the hospital, never went.
No,
never went. They could sit there and say to a blue face. Loretta says they never went.
Yeah. But regardless,
talking about, but as far as band music and stuff like that, they hit a home run out of the park when they asked Eric Singer from, Paul Stanley's solo tour, and then he went and was the drummer of Badlands, who probably one of those bands that could have been enormous if it wasn't for people making stupid decisions and doing nefarious things.
Right.
Badlands was set to be one of the biggest bands on the scene, period, end of story.
Everybody was waiting for that album to come out. Everybody.
And after the success of that first record, they were waiting for bombastic things from this band. But what do? Do you go play with an iconic band, or are you still an opening band, even though it's your own band, blah, 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 blah. So considering that everything went bad with Badlands and what was happening with Badlands, he said, screw it, I'm out of here, and leaves Badlands and joins Kiss as a full-time drummer, which, as we find out later, it's not too long. So and they bring back Vinnie Vincent into the fold and Bob Ezrin and create an absolute Kiss, a classic album called Revenge. This to me was a return to glory. This to me is one of the best records the band has ever put out. It smacks of Destroyer with a new vibe. Solid playing by Eric, by Bruce, and everyone's on board on this record. No more movie stars, no more BS. Back to the basics, balls out rock and roll. This brings the band back and elevates the profile of the band, back into a certain status. So, which was recorded mostly in California, Canoga Park, North Hollywood, Chatsworth, Ocean Way in Hollywood, Acme Recording, Sherman Oaks, the Enterprise, Burbank, A&M, and A&M Studios. And so they recorded this between February 91 and March 92. And then put out pretty much for me, a masterpiece. There's not a dead song on this record.
No, and
Unholy. Wow. Just wow.
it was the return of Gene.
Yeah. Gene being Gene, as we say.
Right.
Take It Off, Tough Love, Spit. God Gave Rock and Roll to You. Could have done without that, but I get it. Domino, Heart of Chrome, Thou Shalt Not, one of my favorite tracks on the record. Every Time I Look at You could be a throwaway. I'm not.
They need the ballad.
Paralyzed, I Just Wanna, great track. And then a little thank you to Eric with a little car jam, which was him and Ace Frehley actually playing together, because Ace Frehley also put it on his album as well. Car jam. Tim and Ace Frehley, they both wrote it.
It was it sounded like Breakout.
That's why it was Ace. Yeah. That's why Ace used it on Breakout. Do 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 do.
Oh yeah,
Breakout. No. So then.
Side note: I was at work the other day in a hospital, and they have it playing over the loudspeaker Every Time I Look at You, the instrumental hospital hallway version. I was like, okay, now Kiss really hit the big time.
So we go to they go back, the Great Tour, they go back into the studio and write this record, but don't release it. Matter of fact, this is still, to me, underproduced. And we talk about this one because it's like, hey, whatever happened to this one? Well, I don't know why they released it. They should have just still kept it under wraps as one of those albums, but for some reason, they decided to release A Carnival of Souls, which was the follow-up record. So it never got packaged correctly. It never got anything else. It was stripped down. This is not a great record.
They released it because bootlegs were taken over. Right. And Gene's like, no, we're going to make money off of this album.
Exactly. Now, there's some good songs in here. None of these sound like Kiss. They sound like a 90s grunge band trying to play metal.
Right. They, once again,
trying to be something they're not and fail miserably at doing it. I will say that there are some really well-written tracks on this record. I will say that. It's not Kiss, as we know Kiss, but there is some great, great music. And I will submit to you Childhood's End.
Childhood's End.
Great track.
I will agree with you.
Great track. I like Jungle.
Jungle I liked. I actually heard that on the radio. I think Trunk played it.
I even like Paul's song to his child, I Will Be There.
Yeah, that one was done well as well. Well, okay. So far we're on the same page.
Yeah. And In the Mirror.
I'll have to listen to it again, because I don't that one's not sticking, so I don't know. Could be good, could be bad. But yeah, this one I was rather vexed with when it came out, because again, it's a new album. I got to have it. I got them all at this point. Still have to collect them. And yeah, I was kind of okay. Do I like this? Do I not like this? Does it sound good? Does it not sound good? And again, it wasn't. I didn't try to go too far and go, well, is it Kiss or is it not Kiss? No, do I like the music? Yes or no? And yeah, there were some standout tracks, but all in all, if I don't hear it again, I'm good. But If I didn't own it, I'd probably be upset and have to buy it. But yeah, not a bad album, but there are better.
Yeah, there are better. I submit to you, I liked the riff in this.
Okay. Put in the goddamn car tomorrow. I'll listen to it.
Yeah. So matter of fact, that was the one Kiss song that I heard on Carnival of Souls. So otherwise, again, trying to be something they're not, wasn't too much of a fan of. But like I said, the 4 songs that I did like, loved.
Yeah, yeah, still vexed with that one, but
so we've got all this buzz going on. Obviously, there's the very, very successful Unplugged record that was, I have to tell you, not bad. And here's what got me: great selection of songs. And this is why I think they knew right off, because they picked songs that were played number 1 on Alive. They picked songs that they would go into the vault number 2 that they would be expected to hear if there was a reunion tour. I think, while we've heard different things, I think they knew that the reunion tour was going to be a preamble to a reunion tour. I think they knew it when they went in and did this, and it was all a ruse.
Well, there was the Grammys too.
No, the Grammys was after, when they went back and decided to go get dressed and then said, hey, we're going to punk the Grammys kind of thing. But this, okay, because Ace and Peter weren't, their haircuts and dyed and everything like that. That came after. But I think when they were part of this, they knew ahead of time. I think the ink was dry when they went ahead and did this, but they never told anybody.
Oh yeah,
I think the ink was dry, which is why they picked the songs that they did. So I think the ink was dry on a reunion tour before they did this, before they went into rehearsals for this in New York. So
it was this album that, because I'm a child, I never liked Bruce because Bruce replaced Ace, and nobody replaces Ace.
Yeah.
And even though there were others before that, I decided, I don't like you. Ace should be in the band, not you. And the albums you're making, I don't like, and all this. Real mature. But after hearing this album, I liked him because that's when I realized, Joe, you're an asshole. The guy can play, and he can play well.
Yep, and he's a talent.
Yes, he's a talent. I've always said Ace is the rock star, Vinny and Mark were the fillers, Bruce is the musician, and Tommy's the puppet. Now, I understand Vinny was a part of 2 good albums, but again, he wasn't long for the band. 3. Okay, let's get technical. But he wasn't long for the band.
What do you mean 3?
You said 3. You held up 3.
Right. Look, as much of a screw up as Vinnie Vincent
regardless,
is,
he wasn't
as much of a
screw
band. Up he is. He saved this band twice. His songwriting and his playing saved this band twice. They were on the way down after Rise to It. After Hot in the Shade, boom comes Revenge. He saves the band again, makes them harder. They start to crash and burn after The Elder. He writes Creatures of the Night, and he writes Lick It Up.
Right.
He saves the band twice from oblivion.
I understand that, but he wasn't long for, in my eyes, he wasn't long for the band. It wasn't a good fit.
No, of course it wasn't.
Right.
They should have kept him just as a songwriter.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And in fact, even funnier story, I called Eddie Trunk when Bruce was on, just so I could apologize to him. So let me apologize to the man I never met, just to tell him I'm sorry I didn't like you. You were a very talented musician. And,
I don't know if I
Both
can't even
of them
say if
laughed
I
at it.
just didn't like him. I liked some of the stuff he does. I was very in tune with a lot of the guitar playing that was done in the early 80s and the chips and the tricks and everything like that. And the arpeggio scales and everything like that. I get it. I got it. I understood it. I listened to guitar players. I love guitar players, listening to people like Tony McAlpine and, Steve Vai and everyone shredding all over the place. So I got Bruce's playing. I understood it. I liked it better than the songs that he played on. Put it that way. I never took away from his ability. I always blamed it on the song's word of quality. So when he finally got a good song, he ripped it. When he had Tears Are Falling, he played the perfect freaking solo to it. When he had All Night, played the perfect solo to it. When he played on Unholy, which I think Vinny's doing the solo on that one, I'm not sure. But yeah, when he really came to do it, yeah, absolutely phenomenal player, and he always and a good dude from all accounts too,
Yeah.
which matters to me. And yeah, yeah. So now if we're talking about stories like we talked about Oasis earlier today, this is where we talk about where the oh shit moment happens. Ace hasn't been in the band for how long at this point? 10 years?
Yeah.
I'm going to say
Roughly.
10 years, roughly 10 years. And Peter's been out of the band since 1980. So we're now at 1995. You got the Unplugged record that comes out. And then all of a sudden, now I didn't know that they were doing this. We saw, I guess, without seeing the second coming, obviously that told the story of what happened. All of a sudden, we're watching the Grammys. I watched the Grammys because they said in a special appearance by somebody, and there were rumblings that it was going to be them. So I was watching. All of a sudden, Tupac's out there, and next thing you know,
we got shocked the people.
We got to shock the people, and all of a sudden, these guys walk out, and I'm thinking, first train of thought is that's not, those are two other guys. It was Gina Paul that put the makeup on. They gave the makeup to two other guys, and now they're walking out as Kiss. That was my first thing. And then upon another inspection, I'm looking again. I'm going, no, that's them.
Yeah.
I'm going, in the 77 regalia, the 77 outfits, the Love Gun outfit, the classic Love Gun outfits.
These are my homeboys, and I've seen everything. Yeah, that was
and what? And then Tupac got shot with like a couple months later.
Something like that, yeah.
He died a couple months later. Crazy.
But he's still on stage with the original Kiss.
But no one announced anything.
No, it was just okay.
But then you heard the rumblings that there was going to be a press conference. and
at this point in my life, I have my girlfriend, which is soon to be my wife, working, and she met a friend and met a guy named Don. And Don, I found out, was a huge Kiss fan. And I'm like, no, he's not. I'm a huge Kiss fan. I got Don beat. And so I finally met Don. And just like, oh, so you're a Kiss fan? He goes, oh, yeah, huge Kiss fan. He's got that Bronx voice. Don, if you're listening, dude, do it. I love you. And I'm like, oh, so you got the other? He goes, oh, yeah, I got 2 copies. What'd you think? I was, he broke it down. And I'm like, oh, see, you ever see him live? He goes, when haven't I? And when I do see them live, I see them at at least second row. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like talking to him, and I'm just like in a cartoon, I'm getting smaller and smaller. And I'm like, yeah, but do you have the Elder on Japanese import? And he's like, why would I want it? Why would I even want an American? I was like, okay. So talking to him again, because he was just a huge super fan. He knew all this as well. So when that came on, and I was like, touching base with him. I'm like, all right, what do you know? What the hell's going on and all this stuff? And it just, he was sort of like my, because again, the internet was around but not around.
Yeah.
He was my Kiss info. So
Right.
if there's anything a buzz, I would call and trust him. So Don now was my Kiss Obi-Wan, and he like knew a bunch of stuff, and he met the band and all this and so forth. So that's what goes on. And then of course he went to the press conference. He had a bullshit pass, and he got in, and he bullshitted his way to the second row, and he's got pictures of them on the Intrepid, which was the announcing the all reunion tour. And he got pictures. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Guy was a huge Kiss fan. I'm like, yeah, I'm nobody. I'm okay. I'm gonna go home and listen unmasked. Send me pictures when you're done, Don.
Yeah.
But yeah, he told me everything. And then of course you have the reunion concert, which I have my tickets. I got my program is somewhere, and everybody, that was like the show everybody wanted to see.
Yep. Gave those to my nephew.
Everybody wanted tickets to go see it. And we got tickets, and we went, and of course we were in like the highest seats, and it was and that show, they ran out of time, and Peter couldn't sing Beth, and he was pissed.
Mm.
He came walking out, and they played the music, and then they stopped, and he had to run back because they're like, no, we're gonna go over. Paul talks too much in between songs, so we're gonna have to cut yours so we can play the other songs. I remember that, but it was a decent show, and everybody was talking about it. It was all the rage. It was like, okay, it's like, who didn't have Kiss tickets? Even people that weren't really fans, it was okay. I want to see the show. Let's see the show. And I never saw Without Makeup. So it's like, okay, so I'm like, all right. So they're playing, and I'm like, oh, okay, here's God of Thunder. And I'm like nudging. I'm like, watch, Gene's going to fly in the air. They go, what? I'm like, he's going to fly in the air. And sure enough, he flew in the air. I said, told you. He played God of Thunder and all that. I said, everyone knew about Ace's guitar smoking, but it was a nice little intro set, and they played all their solid hits,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, okay, this is good. Life is grand. They are back, and Gene, so what? We have issues, but so what? We got back together, so we're gonna show you how the big boys do it. Yeah, we had our differences, but so what? We're gonna come back, and then that's it. I'm like, okay, something's not right. This is not a gathering. This is not a family reunion. This is business. So then they announced the album.
No,
No.
not yet.
Oh.
Not yet. Cause which night at the Garden did you go to?
The night that Peter didn't sing Beth. I don't know.
No, that happened a few times on the tour, which was actually Peter was the first one to give a hard time. Ace had his, I'm late.
It's rock and roll.
Yeah, I mean Ace in his typical, I thought we were practicing on Thursday, so I came today. I know it's Friday, but no, I'm doing what I can, Gene, okay?
Yeah,
Don't ask me where it came from. The man who got me into radio, DJ Dark Gift, God bless him, no longer with us. One night I just was having some scotch and having a lot of it while I was listening to his show, and he brings me on because I was doing other voices, and all of a sudden, just out of the clear blue sky, I just started talking like this, very slow, and I was like, got a little bit New York draw to it, and I was like, oh my God, it's Ace Frehley. How you doing? And it just from that point, okay. So it just no, actually, I'm a plumber. Uh, and I don't know how it happened. I was actually doing Gene and trying to perfect Gene, and this just guttural back of the throat New York. As soon as I started York, and then slowed it down, and then had a little bit
Yeah,
of
yeah.
nasalness to it. And all of a sudden, I'm like talking. It's like, hey, I like Ace Frehley. It's like I'm drunk. It's like, look, he's sober. He didn't do anything.
Yes, the Ace is now the new Joe Walsh, where they're both sober, but they talk in a slur.
Exactly. Like I've been sober for now 10 years.
Sobriety's like diarrhea. That's what he said on the Hall of Fame. I forgot my glasses. I can't reach my speech, but sobriety is like diarrhea.
I forgot my speech because these aren't prescription.
Yeah. So then what happened? Yes,
It was the summer of love.
Peter, Peter and Ace, and they came aboard. Okay, it's the Four Musketeers, and we're going to go out. We're going to show the world how the big boys play
Bullshit.
and put on a stage show. Okay, Paul, me and you're going to make 10 million. Okay, Peter, Ace. Okay, you're going to make 100,000. Okay, there you go. Yeah, the numbers are off and the numbers are wrong, but regardless, Gene and Paul are going to make more money, and we can't have that. And we can't have no. I'm playing my songs dressed in my face, and it just yeah, it
Well, yeah, well that's the whole thing. But it started off bad by not disclosing what everybody was making.
right.
They said we're going to make more, you're going to make less, you're going to make more than Peter, until Ace cracked and said this ain't right, and then told Peter.
Yeah.
So then Peter, by the time they got to New York, wasn't happy with everything. So those not being able to finish the song or running off stage for because of audio issues was him not wanting to sing the song, them cutting the song on him to try to teach him a lesson.
Oh. Oh yeah. And I mean, part of me,
So the hate started early on the reunion tour. Early.
all about the Benjamins, and
Well, everybody
yeah,
knew that. Everybody knew it was a cash grab.
that's I don't know what album it was, but at a certain point, it wasn't about seeing how great Kiss was. It was seeing how much bullshit I can discover. All of a sudden, I was looking for the man behind the curtain. I'm like, you're doing this. You're doing this. It's all for
Yep.
it's all for the money. You could care less. You know, you need something to do, and this was it. And like I said, I was getting all my dirt from Don, and he was like, oh yeah, the whole money thing's going on over there, and Peter and Ace, and so, and part of me really didn't care. I was just like, oh, okay. All right. Well, I saw them in concert. Did I enjoy the concert? Yes. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the show was, I mean, you got to think here I am, first show, 1980. Let's say it wasn't during the heyday, it was towards the tail end of the heyday. And here I am, Madison Square Garden, to which I rarely went to. I went to maybe about 10 shows at the Garden in my life. Most of them were Continental. And I'm sitting here in Madison Square Garden in New York, watching my band the way that I wanted to watch my band, like they were back in 1977. And I'm going, the circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but a but I was but a learner. Now I am the master. It felt like that. It felt like that.
And all was well.
Yeah,
All
you're
was right in the world.
yeah.
The sun was a little brighter. The sky was a lot more blue.
My
Birds were
my
chirping.
wallet was a lot lighter.
Oh yeah, because that's when, okay, the makeup's on. Let's throw it on everything. And
Oh
they
yeah,
just
I had all four Spin magazine covers. They did that. I had, oh my God,
the re-release of the McFarlane figures, the Playboy episode, the Playboy magazine, but of course Gene on the cover. And
actually not just Gene. Actually,
then it was okay. Let's make more figures, and let's have the garbage can, and let's have more posters, and we got to have more jewelry, and the Kiss condom, and the Kiss slippers, and the Kiss. It just
did I
Gene
pack? Oh, you know
Gene
something?
was
I
like,
think I
"There's a
might
way
have
to
packed
make a
that away.
dollar. I can do it." And he
Yeah, I
said
have
time and time
this one.
again,
Melissa would say, "Wow."
everything that should have Kiss, everything that could have Kiss should have Kiss. And from a business standpoint, I can understand that. But there's a time where you just go a little bit too far and go a little bit too ridiculous. But they were all about,
That is a very good
this was
question.
now the money grab. This was all, it's time to take full advantage of the.
I still have the Kiss, that Kiss Playboy, which
Oh,
is
I got
actually,
yeah, mine's upstairs.
yep,
Somewhere in the attic.
yep. But yeah, every magazine, forget it. They were on it.
The
I
7-Eleven,
bought it.
the Slurpee cups, the there was just so much. But and of course every album came with the catalog of, you can purchase this or purchase that, the Kiss coffee book and the Kiss history book, and the it just it exploded. And but all was, and everybody, all these new people discovered Kiss, and all these new people were like, "Oh wow, these are the guys with the makeup." Meanwhile, you and I and a bunch of other people who's been down this road before, who has been with them from the beginning, and pretty much a lot of us line their pockets, could care less. They were like, "Okay, we have new people. Let's take them for everything they're worth." And it just it that's when I wasn't so much a fan anymore. I call it no longer a fan. I call it, I was an addict. I call Kiss my cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
You know they're not good for you, but still you're going to buy a pack.
Mm-hmm.
It says so on the label.
You could try to quit, but as soon as you smoke one, you're going to go through the whole pack.
Yeah, when an album comes out, you're going to buy it. You're going to hate it, but you're going to buy it because you need to have all the legitimate copies, because you started all the way back then. Damn it, I bought Crazy Crazy Nights, so I'm going to keep going. I own, and it just, and then it was, yeah, I saw the Second Coming, the DVD, the VCR, the VHS tapes. That's how long ago it was. And it showed them getting together, and it showed them playing. And I found it very, very interesting. And we discussed this before, where in 79 and 80, Gene was complaining that Kiss became a family show, and people were bringing their children, and you couldn't curse on stage. And it was all about, family fun and all that. And they did not like that. Now they're on tour again. The makeup's on. And everywhere they played, every floor looked like a Toys R Us. And it wasn't about just getting a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or a program. That was nothing. And they upped it to the toys. and they upped it to whatever merchandise they can fit on the damn van. And they were preying upon, make sure you bring your kids, bring all your kids, bring your friends' kids. And while you're at it, enjoy the show. And don't forget to stop at one of our 90 booths on the way out and buy the rare Kiss action figures from this tour and buy the Kiss lamp. And oh, you that big of a fan? You couldn't live without Kiss? Well, now you can die with Kiss. We have a coffin. It became unreal. And
Yeah.
I turned out, it was like I was looking forward to disliking them. And it wasn't about, I was like, yeah, I listened to him. You a fan? I listened to him. Okay. So that's it, not to the point where, I was going crazy, but that's what started bothering me is the music took the back seat. It wasn't about the music anymore. It was about the image. It was about how much you can get from me. It was about the merchandise and the more merchandise. It just changed. And it did not change for the better.
Mm-hmm.
They got a whole new group of minions that they can control and take them for everything they're worth. And I was like, I put the Kool-Aid down. I'm good. You people enjoy yourselves, but I'm good. I'm happy. So that's became the grumpy old man who bought the album just to complain about it. Oof, that was exhausting.
It is, isn't it?
Want me to complain some more?
Yeah.
Can we talk about Psycho Circus yet?
Yeah, I don't think we can even get to that because I think we could wrap up in just a little bit actually, because what we saw in the reunion tour, I think at the beginning was special. By the end of the reunion tour, again, because of all the other stuff, because of the greed, and that's really what's about. Kiss is about greed.
Yeah.
They shot themselves in the dick yet once more. So that would mean about 3 times. And like a 4th and 5th time, we go back like idiots. We just do. The reason why we go back is because it brings up some of the best memories of our childhood. So for better or for worse, it's kind of like the situation that you want to leave, but you can't. But you can keep it at an arm's length. But now you can keep it at an arm length distance. We're trained to know how to do so. We can get into, Psycho Circus was again another money grab. It wasn't a true Kiss album like Gene and Paul promised. Everyone knows this. I'm not saying anything different. But then we get after that, Ace is gone, doesn't do Kiss Live for the symphony in Australia. Obvious.
That was such a disappointment.
And Peter comes back for it, and then
they had a chance because Metallica played with the symphony and did a great job. The symphony's there and Metallica's there, and they're just standing there and they're playing, and they're put on a tremendous show, and it sounded awesome. So Kiss is like, we're going to play with an orchestra, and everyone's like, great. And now you have old timers like, oh man, what can they pull out? There are so many good songs they can do. And they're like, okay, where's the concert? It's in Melbourne, Australia. All right, whatever. They got fans everywhere, not a problem. And then the album comes out, and I'm looking at it, and I got it. And the first set is the Kiss shtick, the Kiss show, where it's all the bells, and I'm like, really? What the hell is this? And then they take a break, and then they come out with a small ensemble, and they do Shandy, and I'm like, okay, well, at least that's one rare song. And they're like, okay, then we're going to bring the orchestra out, and they bring the orchestra out, and it's pretty much Destroyer. It's Destroyer with a couple big hits.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, I love the fact that they did Great Expectations because I
Yeah,
happen to like that song. I said
you
it in the
have
past,
to. You have to.
and I'm
What
like,
other
that's
songs are you
great.
going to do?
But everything else, I'm like, out of your entire catalog and everything you have done and everything you have created, did you really need that first act to come out and show everybody, yeah, we're the guys that have the stage show and all that? No, come out, wear your costumes. Gene didn't need to fly in the air for God of Thunder. They didn't really need to do their shtick. But somehow or another, they had to incorporate it. And it was one of the, it was an opportunity lost
Yep.
where they could have done something
Right.
so grand.
Which why it was a failure.
And they
It was a
just said, well, no,
failure.
let's
Only
stick
Kiss
to the
fans were going to
script.
buy it. They weren't opening up new revenue streams because Alive 4 with the symphony is so grandiose. It's so amazing of a record. No, it's just another thing that they can pawn off to their loyal fan base that they know is going to open up their wallet at every turn, every time they put something out. Did you get the Kiss record? Well, I've got the entire collection all the way back to 73. I might as well get this one too.
Yeah. Well, where my bitterness started, this, you wanted the best, you got the best. This is where I became bitter. Is your cover different than mine? Oh no, you have the clear. Anyway. Bought this CD because of the quote unquote rare tracks. Take Me, Two Timer, Let Me Know. I don't have your ear. I have a pretty good ear, but I don't have your ear. And I listened to the rare tracks. And it sounded like, to me, it sounded like they recorded them that same year and they just did a sound check and added a crowd to it. Wasn't rare about it.
Are you ready for this? This is a compilation. Okay. This is a compilation of the Alive 1 and Alive 2 tracks. Live. Wasn't recorded here. They did things with triggers for the drums, but they're the old recordings. This is actually old. Two-timer room service, that's actually from Alive.
It does not sound like Paul from Alive. It sounds like Paul from 96. And I refuse to re-listen to this.
He could have sang over the old tracks or dubbed them in, but
right. That's what I'm saying.
Those tracks are classic tracks.
And I heard that and I was like, this is horrible. That's it. I saw the man behind the curtain. Now I'm on a roll, damn it. Because you mentioned Alive and Alive 2. Do you remember when they were going to release the Millennium concert?
Hold on. Because I'm going to confirm this. By the way, Zero doesn't sponsor this show at all, but we're going to do this live because it matters.
Now we got dead air.
Okay. Paul over them, those guitar lines and everything. Those to me are the old tracks. Crowds definitely dubbed it in. Yeah, this was definitely. Yeah. And that whole Kiss Tells All with what's his face?
Jay Leno.
Let
me ask you this. Did you invest in this?
I did not invest in that.
This one I invested in because I didn't have Alive or Alive 2 on one of the many releases that they put on CD. I had Alive 3, which, by the way, I thought was a good album. They did a nice lineup.
We did not cover Alive 3, I think, because by that time we were burnt out, I think,
right.
Of Alive.
But this one came with the Millennium concert. And this is by and large one of the worst Kiss recordings ever. All you have to do, I didn't take out the box set either. I got the guitar. I have the guitar case box set.
Eh,
And in the box set, it has a little place where you can put your picks and stuff.
yeah.
That's where I have the little chew bop bubble gum of the Unmasked album because I'm that much of an Unmasked fan. Anyway, they put this out, which was really cool because depending on where you got it, you got a live DVD of a particular concert. I got mine that had the 79 tour of Dynasty, which was cool because I showed my boys this was my first concert. Yeah, it's dated, but this is what I saw, and they kind of dug it.
Nice.
But on the Kiss box set, as a preview to this, they put Rock and Roll All Night from the live Millennium concert. Did you listen to that track?
No.
Now I'm worked up. Now I'm angry, damn it. If you listen to that, they're singing Rock and Roll All Night. The song, it is a staple in every concert that they ever played for every tour. And Paul insists that you all sing along. Listen to that track. There is no way in hell that that concert was live because they couldn't even fake it that good. The crowd is not singing along to Rock and Roll All Night. And again, I'm like, you did this so you can sell a box set. You put the one concert that was supposed to be a live for would hit the shelf, and now the symphony came along and you made it the symphony. And so now we can push the box set, and of course the rarity on the box set, which by the way, four live albums, 5 versions of Rock and Roll All Night. How many times do you need to hear this? Oh, I should have opened with this one so we can end on a happy note, but listen to Rock and Roll All Night from the box set and from the Millennium concert. And yeah, no. But I bought it and I listened to it, but I don't listen to that I don't listen to that album. I'll listen to a live 1 and a live 3, no problem. Live 2, But again, that was just me. We're not buying the album to like it. We're buying the album to find the flaws. We're buying the album to see how they're trying to screw us out yet again. We're buying it on a mission. It's not a healthy mission. It's not a smart mission. But when you invested that much time and money into a band and they start lying to you, you get a little pissed.
Slightly.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right.
But this, you wanted the best you got. This was my Oprah moment. This was my aha moment. This was seeing the man behind the curtain. So, yeah. Wasn't too fond of Gene. So, but I drove to Canada to see Paul. But anyway, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, that's a great story. So,
okay, now that we did that, let's talk about the 14 best ofs.
I honestly, I look, the albums that followed were lackluster. The makeup stayed on because it was part of who they are. But between Monster, Sonic Boom, just the albums were just not that good.
Well, at first I jumped on the wagon and it was like, how can you got 2 people wearing the makeup? That's not cool. That's not acceptable. And then it was, you have 2 people, say what you will, my personal opinion, you got 2 people imitating the people they're dressed as. I'm like, that's really not cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I bought Monster. No, I bought Sonic Boom at Kmart where they had the
Not Walmart where they did the promotion.
Walmart. Thank you. Bought it at Walmart with the 3-pack with the DVD of extra concert footage, and then the rare Japanese best of Kinjitsu or something like that, where Tommy and Eric did the best of or what have you. And I listened to it, put it in my car, listened to it for a week. That's all I listened to in my car was that album, despite all the other bullshit that was going on. I liked the band simply for the music. So I didn't look at the band, I listened. The album was just bad. It was just missing something. It just was missing. It was
It was
lacking.
missing Ace and Peter. That's what it was missing.
And what pissed me off was the song that Eric Singer sang. Now, Eric Singer's got a good voice. He's a good musician. During that lull, he had the ESP project, and I listened to those albums, and the guy has talent.
Mm-hmm.
But the song he sang, I'm like, that could be on one of Peter's solo albums. And then Tommy, he did a song, and I'm like, yeah, okay, Tommy, we're going to write a song like Ace would write a song, and we just want you to sing it and play it. And it just, that, I was like, this could be an Ace song. So not only are you dressing up, but you're really, when Ace and Peter left and Paul's like this, yeah, when we said farewell, it's farewell to them. This is the new Kiss. This is the Kiss moving forward. If you're moving forward, why the hell are you having them sound alike? Why aren't you? Okay, fine. We're not gonna type onto the whole makeup thing, because that's just, the horse is dead. It's dead. It's gone. But do your own, move forward. When you go on tour, don't have Tommy sing Shock Me. When you go on tour, don't have Eric sing Beth. That's Peter's thing. That was his one thing. That was his stage. You claim you have a better band, and you claim that you have a talented band, and you claim the band never been tighter, never been this, never been that. Mm-hmm. You know what? Write your new Beth. Write your new Shock Me, and put that in its place. So you're not moving forward. You're cashing in on the past. And that also pissed me off, because you're trying to fool the younger crowd into thinking, yeah, this is the same people that started in 74. So then Monster came out. Had to buy it, got all of them. Same thing for a solid week. Listen to that album. Mm-hmm. And again, it was just hard. Take Me Down Below. Dear God, that, like, you actually wrote this song. It got to a point where I'm like, Gene, you're 60 years old. You're 60 something years old. Do I want to really hear how you're trying to get laid all the time? Enough already. Mm-hmm. It was lacking.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not the whole makeup thing and all that. It was kind of wrong, but in a way I can kind of see it, because if you're going to put it bluntly, Gene had a ton of product. There was no way he was going to put out a whole new line of Kiss merchandise with different faces on it. That's why you don't see too much with Eric Carr's The Fox. So in order for him to be able to sell stuff, which then again reminded me, if you look at all the merch they're selling, which, by the way, who's buying it? I don't know anybody who buys Kiss shirts and wear them proudly. But half the stuff is with the new lineup, but and then the other half is all classic, all old lineup. And I'm like, once again, you're not moving forward, man. You're cashing in on the past. Mm-hmm. If you're going to tell me you're going to move forward, move forward. Yeah, it's petty, and yeah, it's stupid, and I'm not losing sleep over it. I just got tired of seeing it. Paul told, we're moving forward. We never sounded better, and it's just, everything was Ace's fault. Everything was Peter's fault. They got into, they got a monkey on their back they couldn't shake.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys were sober and you wrote Take Me Down Below. Really? Dude, you got enough already. And it was an opportunity lost at the Hall of Fame. All you had to do, man, just play 3 songs. Get on stage, play 3 songs. And Paul's like, no, because, people are going to think that's what we really sound like. I'm like, dude, take the high road. Regardless, you fell in backwards to the Hall of Fame. You have all your fans there. And it's always, we do for the fans, whatever the fans want.
Yeah. Right.
When they mentioned Tommy and half the house boos, come on now. So it just, that's what really bothered me. And when you and I started doing this, it made me take out the old records and listen to them again. And I'm kind of glad, I'm kind of happy, because yeah, this was a good album. this was a good album. I remember this. And this, there's going to be a story behind every album I listen to, but I'm like, this was really, really good music. And I think what pissed me off the most was just don't hold a carrot in front of my face. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. I
There you go.
That's why I stopped listening to the interviews and I stopped listening to all that. And I'm like, yeah, you can't, because now I'm getting angry and now I'm on Facebook and trying to get kicked off a Paul fans page and all that stuff. And then with the second farewell, it was an outlet for me. If I was in a bad mood, I would just go on a page and type something. And yeah, juvenile, very. But in a sense, it was kind of therapeutic. Now that the curtain came down and allegedly they're gone until these other things come up, I'm done. The hands are washed. I got nothing to complain about anymore. I got nothing. So instead of taking that road, the low road of doing nothing but complain, no, let's go from the beginning and listen to the earlier music. Let's be positive now. Let's listen to what you like and enjoy that part of it. And they're done. So Paul will go back to painting. Gene,
Still
give
playing.
Gene credit. He goes on tour and Gene plays I on stage. So he's got credit there. He plays I in charisma. So, but there was a little bit of a rant. I do apologize, but I just had to get that off my back.
No, it's about time. Someone has to say the truth about what real, look, we don't have rooms dedicated to Kiss. We don't have, the Kiss pinball machine. We don't have.
Truth be told, I'd buy that in a friggin' heartbeat.
Yeah, exactly.
But of course, they had to remake the pinball.
Yeah.
And
we don't, we don't have costumes in our house, but we did buy every record.
Right.
Sometimes duplicated 3 times.
Right.
We did see over a collection of, I'm over 7 shows since 80. 7, 8, 9. So we spent the money. That makes us legit fans, especially with the many copies of records and CDs and tapes that we have of the band.
Right.
Countless magazines that we still have, dolls, a lunchbox. So, we're sitting here at our 98 years old and we still got this stuff like this hanging around. So our dedication is not up for discussion in the threads. I will say this. I gave the band 3 chances. And 3 chances, they held it up for a while and then dropped it and then dropped the ball big time. The final straw, and I will not accept on any level that everybody else is doing it. That is the biggest cop-out bullshit line, period, end of story, to wrap this all up. If you sing and play to pre-recorded music in a live setting, you are no longer a band. You are a vaudeville act. Okay? You are not a band. If you cannot perform like a lot of people do, you are no longer a viable commodity as a live band. I don't care what you show. That's vaudeville. That's theatrics. But if you want to call yourself performers. Don't call yourself a band. Period. End of story. You want to say you're performers? Fine. Because performer, you're performing, you're acting, which is what you guys did for a very long time, including the atrocity that was the end of the world tour.
What made that worse was before the end of the road tour. And again, can't remember much, but Gene and Paul both were, no, Gene was like, it should say on the ticket whether the band's live or not. I'm not paying for backing. Would you pay $200 for backing vocals? You shouldn't have to. He made it a point to talk about bands doing backing vocals and how much he was dead against it
Mm-hmm.
and how wrong. And you should
Meanwhile,
state
his
it.
whole entire band is playing towards a track.
You should state it on the ticket. And I noticed not so much Kiss, but with other bands, they took out the word live and it was now just in concert. And I noticed that a lot of bands now they're like, yeah, they're in concert. They're not live, they're in concert. But that's another thing that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way was no one brings up that interview. No one brings up, saying, no, they're like, look, yeah, we know he's old, but he's been doing it. Paul's been kicking ass for how many years? And I'm like, and God bless him. But when it's time, it's time. Know when to hang it up. Don't bleed it dry.
One entity that has, well, a couple entities have never been defeated. One of them is Father Time. He's never lost a match.
Nope.
So, it's just one of those things where ego, greed take the place of honor and principle. The reason why you get in a band and the reason why you grab a guitar and you write songs is you want to express and you want to get out there and you want to feed your emotions and you want to kick ass and you want to impress girls and you want to be the guy, be the man. Look what I can do. But when you sacrifice your principle, any kind of viable clout, cachet, no matter how long you've been doing it, goes out the window. So to me, by doing what you did over the past 6 years, clouds a lot of what you did in the beginning. And then we go to find out other things. That Alive isn't really alive. Alive 2 isn't really alive. And maybe we were just naive. Maybe we were gullible. But maybe we just believed in you guys. Maybe you were the guys that led our dreams. Maybe you were the guys, and maybe we put, and here's the one thing, maybe we put a little bit too much faith in you guys. Maybe we put a little bit too much on you guys by becoming our superheroes, our escapisms, our a way out of our everyday daily life of doldrums at some points, because even without you guys, life can be pretty exciting. Believe it or not, as maybe opposed to what Gene thinks. But we depended on you guys all the time for a myriad of different things. And this is why we invested our hard-earned money, which at our age in the 70s and early 80s, there wasn't much of, but we gave it to you guys because we believed in what you were doing. You are our muse. You are our way out, our way to create, to grow, because you stood for something. But when you compromise those principles, those simplistic principles of what you're there to do, you not only crush the dreams of small kids who do worship you and fans that adore you and support you financially, but you spit literally on all of your accomplishments that you did in the past. Period. End of story. Now there's only a few great memories, because at some point in time, it just like this 3-part conversation, it ceases to be about all the great times of loving this band it comes along with a lot of a baggage that we carried for you guys for a long time, baggage that we took fisticuffs to in support of you. To do what you did over the past few years was a mockery of what you accomplished, and it's a mockery of what we did to stand up for what we believed in, which was you as a band. Period. End of story. Do I
Yep.
sound pissed? Maybe. I've forgiven. I've moved on from it. I mean, I'm too old to be sitting there harboring that kind of anger, but just calling it as I see it. And as I sit here waiting for, and watching people take this in, I think there's a lot of us that feel the same way. And when you do something out there, no matter what it is, respect it, honor it. Don't shroud it and call it respect and honor when it's shrouded in ego and greed. Because then it really becomes nothing. So thanks for the first few years. Thanks for the inspiration up to 1977, maybe 1980. Just like MTV would say, happy 40th birthday, MTV, 13 years of great music. So now that we got that out, thank God there won't be many other bands that we talk about. Obviously by next week we'll be talking to see if anybody got Oasis tickets, which is pretty exciting. Thank God there's some positive stuff going on. The Robinson brothers get back together, the Gallagher brothers get back together, mass hysteria, the cats and dogs living together. Something's gonna happen.
Something good. We need something good.
I believe that something good's gonna happen. 10:08 here, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this journey of the good and bad of loving a band like Kiss, to which I still do, even though I've just berated them. But it's getting late, the throat's going, so I'm gonna bid adieus, and we'll pick you guys up live. Don't forget, live next week we'll be giving away more swag. We'll be talking about a new band. We'll definitely be catching up on a lot of stuff that's going on in the world of rock and roll, and a lot more things we're going to be branching out on, because we do also love comedy. So we'll be talking somewhere along the lines about comedy, comedians,
Oh
and
yeah,
and the great work that they do, because that's another thing that we love talking about, is especially people like Robin and Bobby Collins and Billy and George and all of them down the line. You know, everybody from the old Rodney Dangerfield tapings and everything like that. We'll get into that as well. Love comedy. So we'll be getting into that as well. So final thoughts for this as we close this out.
Yeah, I think I'm about pooped.
Yeah,
I said
we're pretty much cooked.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe in a couple of weeks we'll talk about Kiss solo projects. We'll bring those albums out.
Yeah, maybe
Down the line a little bit. Need to decompress on this one. Need to go listen to apparently the first two Oasis albums.
And you want to talk about an antithesis? You want to go back to something that was getting cranked out? Like I said, the last great Kiss album was Revenge.
No, hey, no argument there.
That was the last great Kiss album. Period. End of story. I mean, there was effort there. They tried, and it worked. That's what it means to be a band and put out a good record. Everything's working together. So too bad they couldn't put out 4 Revenges in a row. Like, can we have a Revenge 2 and a Revenge 3 and a Revenge 4? I would have taken that.
They should have continued without the makeup and with Bruce. They should have picked up where Revenge left off. They could have put out some really good music. They really could have done something, but they went, and
we don't want to regress, but we didn't talk about the pettiness of the whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing.
Oh,
I mean, it's bad enough that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is an absolute sham because you've actually been there, and we will get
yeah.
into that. Let's make that a segment next week. We're talking about how big of a sham, because you've been there, you've seen what a sham that place is, and what
Yes.
a tourist trap that place is. So I want you to explain that to everybody else who goes, "Oh, but we made the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame." But
Yeah.
also, still, if you get some kind of accolade that the fans and other people in the industry want you to have as being recognized as a Hall of Fame band, okay, per se, whatever that means, it means obviously some people, then don't, like it says, rise above it. Rise above it.
Rise to it.
Yes, rise to it and above it, and don't be so freaking petty, like you killing everything about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We feel like we're being indicted. Shut up. Shut up. Paul's a bitter man. Paul's just a bitter guy.
Yeah.
He's just Gene's like, he got his money. He don't give an F. He's selling it all now anyway. He's getting rid of all the crap. He wants to go live his life and play music and just be simple. Paul is just got to be one of the most bitter individuals that I've ever met.
Yeah. Gene has always been Gene, and he always will be. So everyone knows what to expect. But yeah, Paul is pretty much, he's a bitter old man. And it's a shame. But again, like I said, the smoke went up, they're done. I can't put any more energy to it.
And guess what? We're not going to put any energy into. The AI, the friggin', what do you call it?
I'm spent.
The what the frig do they call them?
The DVD?
No, the AI.
No, yeah, no. Pass.
What do they call them?
The avatars.
The avatars.
Nope.
That's it.
We're done.
Yeah. Let's get into that. And that's supposed to be being worked on. Yeah, let's talk about that. Oh my God.
I threw out the Kool-Aid. We're done. I just drink water now.
Although I will say this before we go. I did play the now, considering this is early, but it was just so well done. I actually played I was playing the avatar. I was on the YouTube. I was playing the ABBA avatars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chris came in, looked at it, and go, "Oh, what year is that concert from?" I go, "Honey, those are computer generated versions of them." She was like, "No, they're not. They're real. They're real people." No, I said, "They're CGI, dude. That's impossible. They're so natural. They were pretty damn natural." After I've seen the crap that's been done with avatars and how poorly, Leia at the end of Rogue One, hope. And she says hope, and it was just like so fake, but you still loved it anyway because she was gone, and But avatars have just been so done so poorly, and you look at this and you go, there's some pretty natural movement going on here. I'm going, wow.
Yeah.
That is pretty impressive as a CGI. Not that I'm going to sit here and tout ABBA, but I'm like, wow, that's pretty freaking cool. I like that. That's awesome. I have to admit, if they can get that to that level, then I would say, you know what? Maybe it's something that you just want to see just for the technology of it all. Let's see how they do it. Not for the crap that they showed us, because that was just deplorable. That was like comic booky Avatar. It was a fake.
Yeah.
If you want to impress me, take the step of the incredible CGI. Plus, you don't have to create movements with the face as much because it's covered in makeup. You guys got a big step up. So let's see if you guys can create something that's cool, not something that looks like freaking Guitar Hero from 1998. Because that's what that whole Avatar thing looked for. I looked like I was watching Guitar Hero. It was horrible, absolutely disgusting. So we'll see what happens with these.
I don't want to go down that hole because
avatars.
no, I can't.
Avatars. You have made us immortal. Shut up.
Oh,
Just
Jesus
shut
Christ.
up.
Okay,
The
just
new era of Kiss begins now. Stop. Just
so
stop.
you have the avatars. I'm sorry, you have the avatars, and the avatars are going to be playing old Kiss. Yay, right? Because Kiss ain't writing any more new songs.
Right. Maybe.
So
It could be AI Kiss. It could be, what if Kiss sang this song this way? And next
I
thing you know,
understand that,
programming
but
it in, and then all of a sudden you've got a whole new Kiss album made by AI Kiss.
yeah. So who's going to voice Mason Peter? You know, it that's where we can go. If you're immortal and you're AI, you want to give the fans what you want. Why don't you give the fans that? That's all I'm
How
saying.
about give the fans what they really want and just stay away?
Yeah. Yeah. Go back to painting.
Go do something.
Go paint. Go make pizza.
Go have fun.
Buy another football team because
Here.
the first one did so well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I watched that
We'll
damn
just go
program
and say,
too.
hey, look, you're welcome. You're welcome. We supplied you with the ability to do this. You're more than welcome, guys.
Yes.
You're more than welcome, guys.
Yes.
Hold on. As we keep on going, you're more than welcome, guys.
Here. We didn't even talk about the Kiss cards. Oh. Both sets, original.
You're more than welcome, guys. You're more than welcome. Take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves.
All right, we keep going.
We can't help ourselves.
Oh,
like you said, we're addicts.
Oh, yes.
We can't control ourselves. We're down to that last cigarette. We need to finish the pack.
Yeah. We're gonna. Oh, dear Barbara.
Give my best to Mara and the boys, okay?
Will do. Will do.
All right. We'll catch you on the flip then.
Yes, you will. I will. I'll be talking to you soon with my review of the damn Oasis albums.
Looking forward to it. Take care, bud.
All right, talk to you.
Guys,
Peace.
see you next week. Peace.